Good day and welcome to the League of Women Voters Meet the Candidate Forum. A program produced by the League of Women Voters in collaboration with WTJX for over 25 years. I am Lisa LaPlace, a member of the League of Women Voters. It is our hope that through this program, you, the voting public, will have a better understanding of each candidate for this position and be able to have an informed vote in November. This has been a challenging time for all of us as a territory and as a nation. As we adapt to this pandemic and social distancing, we are going virtual. And our broadcast this year, it is our goal to still provide program of value as you prepare to vote in November. With me today are two persons running for the position of senator in the St. Thomas St. John district. Thank you, candidates, for being here. You have been informed in advance of the guidelines for the program. After briefly introducing yourself, I will pose questions of timely interest. The first responder will be rotated. 90 seconds will be the response time for most questions unless so stated in advance. So let's begin with your brief introductions. Kindly state only your name, your ballot number, and political affiliation, if any, starting with Senator Thomas.
Good day. Thank you, Ms. Knight. My name is Athneil Bobby Thomas. I'm a Democrat. I'm number 8 on your November 3rd ballot.
Thank you. And Mr. Potter.
Greetings. My name is Milton Potter. I am number 15 on the Democratic ballot for a seat in the 34th Legislature.
Thank you very much. And in our first question, you have 2 full minutes to inform the voters why you should be elected to this position of senator in the 34th Legislature. To the challenger, Mr. Potter, in both St. Thomas and St. Croix districts, only 1 seat has been vacated. So you might have to replace an incumbent to be elected. Explain what qualities, training, experience, and expertise you have that makes you better suited for this position and even possibly unseated incumbent.
Thank you for the question. We have some monumental problems in the Virgin Islands. What makes our situation that much more critical is that these problems are all converging at the same time. Historically, we have addressed from a political standpoint our issues in a reactionary sort of piecemeal manner. That is why in 2020, we still have the issues that we were faced with in the year 1980. That is why I'm running for office. We need a sustained, persistent approach towards problem solving. My years of experience in human resources, I think, makes me uniquely suited to do so. I have served as director of the Division of Personnel, director of HR for the Virgin Islands Port Authority, executive director for the Virgin Islands Board of Education. I have served as a part-time instructor at the University of the Virgin Islands. I am the past president and current treasurer of the St. Thomas Federal Credit Union, served as counselor for the Upward Bound program, as well as a counselor for the Family Resource Center. I'm nationally certified with Society for Human Resources, as well as the International Public Management Association. And what I'm saying is I believe that I bring an opportunity to look at our problems from a different pair of lenses. This is an opportunity for us to elect a candidate who can dig in their heels, who can work hard, who can bring a sense of loyalty to the issue of problem solving in our territory. It is time for us to address problems based on facts and data as opposed to politics as usual.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now to Senator Thomas, to the incumbent on St. Thomas and St. Croix, only one seat has been vacated. With with so many of the challengers hoping to unseat an incumbent, what have been your major accomplishments over the past 2 years that support your being retained in your position? 2 minutes.
Well, thank you for the question, Ms. LaPlace. In the 33rd legislature, we came in with a brand new body. We gave the people a sense of hope that the Democrats would come together and form leadership. Unfortunately, we had an unseating and a coup d'etat which changed the leadership. Nonetheless, although I was removed from the majority and placed in the minority, my record shows a consistent commitment to working with my colleagues. It shows over 100 pieces of legislation that I authored, co-sponsored, or was a primary sponsor on. Legislation that dealt with the tough issues that is facing this economy. We have legislation dealing with GERS. There is this fallacy that there will be one single measure that will come out and solve all of our issues. Our issues are numbered and varied. We have WAPA. We have GERS. We have a global economy that is on the decline. With this, it must take leaders that can work together. There is no time for fighting and squabbling and sides of aisles. I have proven in my time that I get to work. I am present to every single meeting that I am a member of, and I was also present to many committee meetings that I was not a member of, because the concern for moving the territory forward is first and foremost. It begins with the first branch of government. Athneil Bobby Thomas was a senator who was there on a regular basis, who collaborated from either side of the aisle to work on the measures that is going to help this territory to move forward. We have to have people that can come together on a regular basis, because issues like GERS was on a decline for many years. It was many pieces of legislation that tore it to pieces. One singular issue will not do it. So we all need to have our little bit of contribution and make sure that you are included in coming towards putting together a solution that comes from many.
Time. Thank you. But I will follow up on your GERS mention, Senator Thomas, and you'll have 60 seconds to answer this one. So just a minute. In some states, consideration has been given to cutting pension benefits due to budgetary shortfalls. Do you see this happening in the VI? And if so, what would be your response as a senator? That would be 60 seconds, please.
I thank you for that question. And as you mentioned, it is not a unique situation that we're having here in the territory with our pension. But if you, as I mentioned before, if you put several pieces together to come to one solution, that would help the system. Every single effort should be made that there is zero reduction of benefits for our retirees from the government employee retirement system. Every single effort should be made to avoid that. If not, there may be opportunities where you don't have to yield to the 42% that GERS is suggesting. I have in two measures myself that show options of 35% or 25%. But as mentioned before, we are going to do everything, including the current securitization bill that we are covering right now, to make sure that and there's zero reduction in benefits.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Mr. Potter, would you like me to read the question again, or do you need the question read again? You will have 60 seconds to answer. In some states, consideration has been given to cutting pension benefits due to budgetary shortfalls. Do you see this happening in the VI? And if so, what would be your response as a senator? 1 minute.
Pension issues are universal. Absolutely. They're happening here and they're happening throughout the country. I would not be comfortable telling retirees who entered into a contract to do 30 years in exchange for getting a stable pension at their most vulnerable time in their lives. I would not be comfortable supporting the cutting of pensions. However, reality is reality. I think that we need to roll up our sleeves to find realistic, reasonable revenue streams to ensure that the GRS has a lot more life. It is something that we must do. That we revenue streams. I believe we can.
Time. Thank you, Mr. Potter. We're going to do another question on GERS, and you'll be given 90 seconds for this question. What do you think of the following suggestions, and how would you rate the ideas for generating revenue for the GERS? The UVI professor, Emmanuel, he has suggested to secure more funds for the GERS, a 14-cent tax on gasoline to contribute to the GERS, or consider a restructuring of the Diageo USVI incorporated benefits. And Governor Bryan has suggested we seek a significant loan or refinance our current debt. Mr. Potter, how would you answer that in 90 seconds?
The options you said was a 14 cents tax on gasoline, as well as refinancing the debt. What was the third option again? I'm sorry.
Okay, so the professor at UVI has suggested to secure more funds, a 14-cent tax on gasoline, like you said, or a restructuring of the Diageo Corporation in St. Croix. And Governor Bryan also has two suggestions. One is we seek a significant loan, or we refinance our current debt. And how would you rate them?
Okay. Just in a matter of 90 seconds, without having the benefit of fully reviewing the options carefully, the restructuring or renegotiating of the Diageo would stand out to me to be a viable option for us. I think that the initial negotiations that we had with the Diageo firm, I think, was disproportionately in the favor of Diageo. I'm not sure whether it is realistic for Diageo to say that I will be willing to put the cards on the table for the betterment of securing and ensuring the survival of the system. However, if that were possible, my number one option would be the restructuring of the Diageo deal. The governor is exploring the possibility, along with the legislature, of refinancing our debt. That is something that if we could, come out of it, doing it in a legal manner, would be an option that I think would be viable. Also, as well as the 14 cents, that would be number two, and the 14 cents tax on gasoline would be option number three. We can't afford the GERS to fail. So any option that we can identify, I think, would be worth exploring.
Thank you. Time. Senator Thomas, would you like me to do the question, or did you get it?
I got it, and all points are valid. But if you look at the issues with GERS, this is exactly what I'm talking about. That more than one item will have to be considered for solving it. The 14 cents gas tax, that is something that we have used for many things. Most recently, we had it directed toward the Water and Power Authority to purchase new generation. With the infusion of money going to the Water and Power Authority now, they're going to try, we're considering repurposing the 14 cents. Every little bit helps. But absolutely, the renegotiations for the rum cover taxes, that is the funding source for the securitization. That's what they're discussing right now. Absolutely. That is like a guarantee. It is such a strong funding source, revenues coming in. That is a very strong source that should be used to firm up GERS. So the 14 cents, that's another option, along with this, the securitization with the Internal Revenue Matching Fund. It is absolute that we take every method possible to put towards firming up GERS.
Thank you very much for that answer. We're going to move on to crime, and you'll have 90 seconds for the next question. Crime has not abated in our territory, and we continue to see our young men, women, and children being killed or harmed. What do you see as the root causes of this epidemic of violence? And what ideas do you have that might lessen the level of violent offending in our community? I'm going to go with Mr. Potter on that first. You have a minute and a half.
Okay. Virgin Islanders are being held hostage by crime. We don't go out anymore in the evenings. We are being held hostage for sure. I think that a big part of what we're seeing really is a breakdown of the family. I think that our families are in distress, and if our families are under stress, our communities will be under stress. And we're seeing this stress manifested in the crimes that we are seeing on the streets. I would venture to guess that the bulk of maybe 95% of the persons who are in contact with the criminal justice system are coming from a household where there is an absent father or a father who is not involved in the raising of their children. I think that what happens is if you have absent fathers, it leads to abandoned sons with low self-esteem, and that is feeding and fueling the criminal justice pipeline. My mother was no criminal justice expert. She had a 6th grade education, but her favorite saying was, "Idle hands are the devil's workshop." We must develop programs and initiatives focusing on economic development and education for our young people. They need to have options for a good life, for positive way of raising funds.
Time.
It's the only way that we're going to be able to resolve our issues.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. Senator Thomas, would you like the question reread, or you're on your way again?
No, ma'am, I have it. And crime is definitely punishing this community, but I look at it in a 3-pronged approach of how it should be dealt with. I always yield to prevention. That's why I spent 20 plus years volunteering for different organizations, and including coaching the league, because I wanted to be that male figure in those youngsters' lives who may not have had that male figure at home. So I believe in prevention. I believe in approaching them from young, grabbing them at them age, letting them know that there are people in the community that care for them. Also, what we must have is when you have these strong young men, you cater an economy to them. If they feel left out, they will just do whatever comes, whatever is left for them. And what is left for them is the third and the worst part. What is left for them is access to guns that we have no idea where it's coming from. But our federal partners need to step in and prevent the guns from getting to the territory. So if we have young, strong men, we give them good leadership, like me as a coach or me as a professional senator here serving the community. If you give them an opportunity to take part in the community, they will do great. But we must thwart the access to the guns that are leading to all of this devastating violence to our community, because without the guns, we wouldn't have the gun crime. So, we have to prevent access to illegal firearms.
Time. Thank you very much. And one more crime or criminal justice question. And again, it will be 90 seconds for an answer. Across America, there have been cries to defund the police departments triggered by claims of cruel and inhumane interactions with citizens. Locally, the VIPD has been placed under a consent decree in which the agency must remedy our use of force policing practices. Do you think the department should be defunded in the VI? Why or why not? And what does defunding look like to you? Senator Thomas?
Thank you for the question, Ms. LaPlace. And never would I want the police defunded. My approach, again, is different. Right now, we have a Virgin Islands Police Department, and I grew up in a time where we had public safety. And that should be the approach from our finest in blue. Not so much force to be out there enforcing, and that should not be the approach. The approach should be a relationship with the community that has strong trust. So if you defund the police, you're basically taking away a protection of the community. Our finest in blue are here to protect and serve. If we defund them, who will protect us? who will serve as that community liaison between public safety and the community. So I think that should be approached. Do not defund. And defunding is only allowing for, I think what we need is retraining in police department across the nation, that they are not bullies and enforcers, but they are more a partner in this community. So I do not support defunding the police at all.
Thank you for that answer. Mr. Potter, would you like the question reread, or do you have it?
I think I have it.
All right, 90 seconds.
All right. I think right now, rather than defund the police, we need to more properly fund the police. We need to have more professionalized facilities for police officers to work out of. We need to have a community-oriented policing initiative. Unfortunately, that cannot work because of the low numbers of police officers that we have. In fact, in 2020, we have probably 250 fewer police officers than we had, let's say, in 1990. So the numbers are going in the wrong direction. In order to have a full-fledged community-oriented policing initiative, we need bodies. So, we need the numbers there to increase. That is an opportunity for police officers to be embedded in our communities, to build relationships, to develop relationships of trust with police officers during good times, so that when the bad times come, these people will be able to communicate with the police officers. Imagine Miss Sandy living down the road in Tutu Valley, single mother, police officers embedded in the community, sees a big pile of bush in front of Miss Sandy's yard, and she says, "Look, Miss Sandy, Officer Smith and I are coming next week to cut the grass from your window. That's a hazard." That is an opportunity to build relationships between regular citizens and the police. That is what is necessary in order for us to have this positive engagement and positive relationships with the police. The Housing Police Initiative is an example of that.
Thank you very much. All right, gentlemen, 90 seconds again. And it's not too bad, right? We're having fun, right?
Nice.
All right, so 90 seconds for your next question. In November, general election, there will be a referendum question that asks the voters if a convention should be held to adopt the revised Organic Act or portions of the act as the territory's constitution. What is your opinion on this referendum question? Mr. Thomas? Senator Thomas?
Thank you for that, Ms. LaPlace. And I absolutely support this. I think that is one of the biggest problems in the Virgin Islands, is the fact that we do not have a constitution. We've had, I think it's 5 constitutional conventions, and we need to some way establish a constitution for the people of the Virgin Islands. We have been operating with what serves as our constitution now, which is the revised Organic Act of 1954. So take the portions of it that we support. Through the 5 previous constitutional conventions, you can hear their concerns and see what is acceptable according to our revised Organic Act now. Take that, have a constitution, and something that we can build upon from there. We can amend it, we can shape it more to what we need. But it is a travesty that in 2020, the Virgin Islands of the United States of America, we do not have a constitution. And absolutely, I'm in support of the measure, and I will be hoping that we can have a constitution for the people of the Virgin Islands shortly.
Thank you very much for that answer. Mr. Potter, what is your opinion?
I concur with Senator Thomas. I too support the measure. I think it is high time for us to have a constitution of our own, one that we are part of putting together based on the needs of the territory, of the people, based on who we are as a people. I think that adopting the current Organic Act as our constitution and providing an opportunity for citizens to be involved in amending and shaping it to something that is more relevant to us, it makes a lot of sense. It cuts down the time for us having to just start something totally from scratch. And I think it makes good sense. It will be a wonderful starting point, providing that the people of the Virgin Islands has opportunities to provide input into amending the Organic Act, including items that we I think would be of benefit to us, and excluding those aspects of the act that would be not as beneficial to us. So I think it makes good sense, and it would be a good move.
Thank you very much for that answer. Again, 90 seconds. You're going to be hearing me say 90 seconds for the rest of the day. The COVID-19 pandemic has reaffirmed our fears of the territory being a one commodity economy built on tourism. This situation creates economic vulnerability. Can you identify 2 services or products that may significantly supplement our VI economy? And also, in your answer, please explain what you would do as a senator to assist in its development. Thank you. And that would be Mr. Potter, please.
I agree with you that COVID-19 has really exposed some vulnerabilities in us, and the fact that tourism is our sole economic base, our primary economic base, is a reality that we need to address. I think that we have an opportunity to allow millennials, open up our economic base, to allow millennials to be a part of it. Millennials come with, and Gen Zs come with innovative economic development ideas. So it's hard to say one product that we would do, but I think really tapping into the innovation of millennials, focusing on the computer age and computer technology might be an area for us to focus our efforts on. Also, agriculture. I think that we've spoken a lot about agriculture. It seems to happen primarily during the election cycle, but I think we need to be serious about agriculture by funding it, properly funding agriculture. And it says to me that we're not very serious because of the level of funding that we put towards agriculture. We can do a lot more in the area of agriculture than we are doing and that we think we can. So those are the 2 areas that I would focus on: agriculture and just generally opening up the economy to innovative ideas of millennials.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. Senator Thomas?
And, we were unfortunately cornered into 2 products that we do very well, and we should find a way to continue and benefit from those. Rum. The rum cover over dollars, brings great revenue here. The good thing about it is as what we generate, it's what used outside of here. So we have that commodity that we can ship to the US, and they could spread out what the taxes we receive from that is absolutely amazing. What we are going to fall back on is the fuel, the processing and refining of the oils and the different petroleum products. That also is something that goes beyond the consumption of the territory. We need to have a product that the world buys. The world drinks alcohol. The world uses petroleum products. So those 2 products really help our economy as far as other than tourism. The diversification is absolutely needed, but we are kind of pigeonholed by design into those 2 products.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. This will be a shorter answer. It'll be 60 seconds. And public housing communities in the VI seem to have been constructed with little, if any, attention to the quality of life within that community. As a senator, Mr. Potter, what kind of oversight would you exert to address this?
And you said that can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Sure. Public housing communities in the VI seem to be constructed with little, if any, attention to quality of life within the community.
Okay, so what would be my ideas as far as addressing that?
Yes.
I think that, and I heard that the current governor, Brian, and the previous governor made a pledge to not build these big high-rise monstrosities anymore. I think that having more maybe duplex type housing with opportunities for green
Senator
space.
Thomas?
Yes. Oh, he's finished?
Senator
No,
Thomas. Oh, there you
No,
are.
is he finished?
No, he froze. He froze. Would you-
Oh, okay. Well, I was still hearing him. I was still hearing him.
You know, this is a virtual.
yes, these things happen.
So would you
So,
like to
could I-
answer? Yes, please.
I was saying that the former governor as well as the current governor both, I believe, pledged to not build back massive high-rise structures anymore as far as public housing is concerned. Having smaller duplex-type family-oriented environments where there is green space and recreational space for residents to enjoy, I think it just makes sense, and we ought to just have a policy that we're no longer going to encourage that type of environment with high-rise buildings on top of buildings in our community. I think that would go a long way towards improving the quality of life for persons who are residing in our housing communities.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator Thomas.
Yes, and my fellow panelist is absolutely correct. The federal agency, the Housing and Urban Development, they actually are getting away from high rises and stuff. So that's a good thing about it. What I think they are doing, which is incorrect now, is they are getting away from making those facilities communities that interact. As my panelists mentioned, what they are now doing is they are removing any recreational facilities. They're putting like lawns in front of the buildings and they're calling it a green space, but that's just maybe for maybe a 7-year-old. But when the 14-year-old wants to play basketball, they're not providing any opportunities there. What I think needs to happen is provide affordable home ownership, not affordable housing, affordable home ownership. That may mean different to different people, because if you're at a higher salary, have a home ownership opportunity in that range. So it doesn't mean that it's affordable housing.
I'm sorry, Senator. Time. I'm sorry. Good answers, though. We're going to go back to 90 seconds, and we're going to go back to the revised Organic Act of 1954. We both agreed that this is something that we should look into further. And if we are finally successful in getting the revised Organic Act of 1954 approved as our Constitution, then we become empowered and we can enact changes in the organization of our government. Are there any changes you would like to see, or are you satisfied with our current structure and organization? Are there changes specific to the Organic Act that you would like to see? And I'm going to go with you, Senator Thomas.
Thank you for that, Ms. LaPlace. And I think what is key that needs to be mentioned, I just want to slip it in here, that the bill is calling for portions of the revised Organic Act. I don't want everyone to assume.
Thank you for that correction.
Right, it's not the entire document, so it's portions of it. So we get to pick and choose what is good about it. If there was any change, right, after sitting in the seat as a senator, I would so appreciate the ability to have more of an effect on the execution of what happens to our constituents. Right now, we are basically a pass-through to get things done. So if a constituent has a concern, they would call our office, yes, but we have no executing power. We still have to lean on the executive branch to get it done. We can provide the funding, but it still have to lean on the powers in the executive branch to get it done. I am more than 1,000% ready to be responsible for any request that comes through me. And I think doing that being able to have some kind of execution power would allow me to do that. That would be the only change I would have. Otherwise, I fully appreciate the government that we are structured under right now.
Thank you for that answer. Mr. Potter.
I definitely would need to spend more time examining our revised Organic Act to give you a more conclusive and definitive answer. However, I think just generally speaking, I think that as a territory, we have been very vulnerable in that we don't have control more control over our borders, our airports, our seaports, the fact that, we really rely wholeheartedly on the federal government to intervene regarding, for example, the closure of our ports during, the pandemic that we are experiencing now. The governor has repeatedly said over and over again that we don't have any control over airplanes coming in. We cannot say, we're closing the port today. That is really governed by, federal guidelines. So I think that is something that would give us more control, I think, of, some of the issues that we experience regarding ports, maybe firearm coming to the territory, something with COVID-19, we may decide we want to shut things down until we see, the decline in the numbers. And those are things that we don't have the ability to do right now. And perhaps, restructuring the Organic Act to allow us greater control, I think would go a long way.
Thank you for that answer. The next question is just to 60 seconds, and you two of you are doing very well, by the way, with all the questions. And in both of the previous administrations, in both the previous administration and the current administration, there have been concerns regarding alleged nepotism. What can you do as a senator to address these concerns? Mr. Potter, I'm going to put you first.
I know that there are states, a number of states in the United States that have anti-nepotism laws. Some do, some don't. I think that the biggest concern that we have in the territory is ensuring that people who are not qualified for positions get jobs simply because of their DNA, because they are related to some high-ranking person. That should not be. I mean, absolutely, qualifications should always be of paramount concern when you're selecting people for a job. Now, we are in a small community, so, and everybody is related. So to have a sweeping anti-nepotism law would just probably not be realistic, but we just need to be more stringent regarding ensuring that persons who apply for jobs are qualified, and we're able to get the best qualified people for positions, irrespective of their bloodline. I don't think that they should necessarily be barred from a job because they are a relative of a high-ranking hiring entity, However, they should not get a position simply because of that. You should have the background, the qualifications, the requirements for that job in order to, be able to get that position.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. Senator Thomas, nepotism.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I was trying to find a way to disagree with my fellow panelists, but he's right on target because, we are going to jump on the nepotism train here. In other jurisdictions, they'll call it networking. We absolutely have to be responsible in hiring the best of the best, getting the best Virgin Islanders that are qualified for the job, regardless of who they're related to perform professionally. It should not be a leg up because you're related. It should not be at all. It should be a leg up because, hey, this guy is experienced, he's qualified, he's educated and trained, and we put them in place to serve the people. So I'm not, in the small town, it is probably the number one topic is nepotism, but it's an easy call because if you go and you look closely enough, we're all related in this place. So it is absolutely, you have to do and find the qualified people to do the job.
So go with merit rather than association. Well, gentlemen, I have come to the final question. So I'm out of questions. You answered these questions way too quickly. And I'm not really sure where we are in the time. I've asked the WTJX But I think this is, you're going to have, I'm going to give a minute and a half for each of this. So 90 seconds, I'm sorry. And basically, are there any areas that we have not discussed that you would like to address, or areas already discussed that you would like to expand on? So, Senator Thomas.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. And the one thing I would like for us to consider is, and my fellow panelists mentioned it, is that we are thin on people in the territory in all professions. But what we need to do, I have a bill currently, is called the Brain Gain Bill. Some of the best and brightest Virgin Islanders find opportunities elsewhere and they grab it. They want to work here, but it's kind of rough for them to come back. So my Brain Gain Bill is trying to find incentives to bring back the best and the brightest Virgin Islanders that are out there, that are making waves across the globe, that are making other jurisdictions prosper, that are showing that we have excellent talent coming from the Virgin Islands. We need those great minds back in the territory. So I have a bill to try and incentivize them coming home, whether it's repaying student loans, whether it's padding a little bit of the salaries that we know are a little low here in certain areas, just to find a way to bring these Virgin Islanders back home. I would love to see more Virgin Islanders come home, succeed, lead, and make the Virgin Islands a better place for us all.
Thank you for that answer. Mr. Potter, would you like me to read it again, or do you have it?
I think I have it. I mean, one thing that I would really like for us to pay greater attention to as a territory is criminal justice reform. And I think we kind of touched on it earlier. I think that we need to have educational and counseling component in our prisons. 95% of inmates in our criminal justice facilities are going to come out of jail. And I think that is part of what is feeding this crime situation that we're experiencing. You have persons coming out of prison, better and more hardened criminals. When they're out of prison, they are ostracized from our community. We know on that application, once you respond positively to have you ever been convicted of a crime, that is it, lights out, So people have to live. It fuels the criminal justice pipeline. We really need to have opportunities while people are in prison and re-entry programs when they are out, to create better opportunities for them to select something positive as opposed to engaging in the negative. So that is something that if I have the opportunity to solve, I would really be emphasizing. We really need to have second chance opportunities for persons who made a mistake oftentimes in their youth. That is something that is near and dear to my heart. I think that we all stand to gain from that, having better citizens of better character, better educated once they leave the criminal justice system. And so, that is something that I would really want us to emphasize as a legislative body.
Thank you. Well, we've come to the end of the program. We are going to allow both gentlemen to have 2 minutes to speak, but on behalf of the League of Women Voters, I'd like to thank, oh, wait a minute, I am way ahead of myself. I would like, please forgive me, I am trying very hard with this virtual thing. So now is your closing statements. And you'll each have 60 seconds each. I thought it was 2 minutes. Let's begin with Senator Thomas or Mr. Potter. Let me see if we have time. But we're going to begin with Mr. Potter. Would you begin with 60 seconds for your closing statement, please?
Well, I want to thank you very much. Thank the League for this opportunity to share my ideas with the general public as to why I think I am suited to serve in this capacity of Senator of the 34th Legislature. We are experiencing challenges as a community. As a senator, once you're elected, you don't come with a magic wand. You don't become an expert all of a sudden on everything. You don't become a subject matter expert on everything. But what I hope you come with is an open mind, creative ideas, and a love and a passion for the people of the Virgin Islands. That is what I bring. I believe in empowering people. I believe that the job of senator isn't the job of you sitting in your office waiting for folks to come in. It's the job of us expanding out, working with community citizens, getting their ideas, finding out what their hopes and dreams are. And the senator works to facilitate their hopes and dreams. It's not about me. It's not about Milton Potter. It's about you, your hopes, your dreams, the hopes and dreams that you have for your families, the hopes and dreams that you have for your children, the hopes and dreams that you have for these beautiful Virgin Islands. I'm asking the people of the St. Thomas and John community to give me an opportunity to work at addressing some of these vexing problems that have been around since 1980, since 1960. Let's finally work at resolving them. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Milton Potter, number 15 on the ballot on November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Potter. It was a pleasure. Senator Thomas, it is 2 minutes. We have been granted, both you gentlemen had two minutes. Senator Thomas. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry about that. I want to thank you, Ms. LaPlace, excellent moderator. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for providing this opportunity for me and my fellow panelists. And I want to thank WTJX for, reaching out into the future and finding a way to bring the candidates to the people. Because it is very important that the candidates learn about people like me, Athneil Bobby Thomas, number 8 on your ballot. I am that senator who is working hard, day and night, as we are exercising our probably most important responsibility, which is oversight. In this job, the oversight means long days, long nights. It means checking and balancing what is happening in our government, evidenced by the exposure of mismanagement, misspending, nepotism, all revealed here in the legislature due to the hard work, the diligence, the research, the hours put in on the job, and the commitment. I have been in this environment for the past 27 years, so I know for sure what it takes. I am committed, and I am fully willing to be accountable to the people of the Virgin Islands for what happens with our legislation and how we move it forward. I am that senator who offers respect to each and every individual that comes in front of the legislature. I will ask you the tough questions, but I will never disrespect you. I will never degrade anyone that comes. I want to provide an environment where we want more Virgin Islanders to see the legislature as a place of statesmen, where they could come and be part and join boards and fill these many vacancies we have. The role of a senator is wide and vast, and I am able to serve it any way to the people of the Virgin Islands to ensure that we have a beautiful territory to pass down to the generations to come. I will continue my hard work, as mentioned, over 100 pieces of legislation, authored, co-sponsored, or as a primary sponsor, to help and resolve the many vexing issues we have, including our Water and Power Authority, the government employee retirement system, education, crime, and making attempts to try and provide affordable home ownership opportunities to Virgin Islanders. Once again, my name is Athneil Bobby Thomas, number 8 on your November 3rd ballot. And I thank WTJX, I thank the League of Women Voters, and I thank you, Ms. LaPlace, for providing me and my panelists this opportunity to speak to the people of the Virgin Islands.
And thank you, Senator Thomas and Mr. Potter. It was a pleasure, and I'm so thankful for your patience.
No problem. Thank you, Ms. LaPlace.
Thank you, Mr.
Take care, Bobby.
All right,
all right.
So we've come to the end of today's program, and on behalf of the League of Women Voters of the Virgin Islands, I want to thank WTJX for its staff for this opportunity to bring together the candidates for elective office. We also want to thank the candidate for taking the time to be here. The League encourages all to vote in November. This year, 2020, marks the 100-year anniversary of the 19th Amendment that grants some women the right to vote, that granted some women the right to vote. Let us all exercise that right, a right that so many do not have in other countries. Also remember that this year there will be a referendum question on the ballot having to do with a constitution for the Virgin Islands. Look for the announcements of the League's education program on the referendum right here on WTJX. And do visit the League's website, www.lwvvi.org. But before we go, gentlemen, please take the time, before we go, please take one last time to say your ballot number, your party affiliation, and your name. Thank you.
Okay, I'll start with me.
Yes.
I am Milton Potter, number 15 on the machine, Democrat in the November 3rd general elections. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And thank you for the opportunity again. Athneil Bobby Thomas, number 8 on your November 3rd ballot. Thank you very much for your support.
Good day.